Hey guys, it's Luke, and this video is going to be me ranking the SpongeBob movies from my least favorite to favorite, so enjoy. And also spoilers ahead, especially for the new movie Search for SquarePants. So, to start things off, Plankton the movie is, in my opinion, the weakest SpongeBob movie. But I'm not saying it's bad, it's a good movie overall. It does tell a good story that includes nice flashbacks about Plankton creating Karen and them eventually falling in love, and seeing Karen become the main antagonist was cool to see. Additionally, I do think the musical numbers in the film are nice, and I also liked that characters that didn't really appear much or at all in the previous movies got a role in this film, such as Pearl and Mrs. Puff. But what puts this movie at the bottom for me is mainly because of two things. The first is that the quality of the animation is a noticeable downgrade from the previous films, and I would say that Saving Bikini Bottom, the Sandy Cheeks movie, had better visuals, and also some of the character designs look a bit strange, especially with Mrs. Puff. And the second is that the premise of Plankton trying to reconcile with Karen has been seen before in SpongeBob, such as in the episode Plankton Gets the Boot. So again, this is a good movie, but I just personally like this one the least. Next up is the newest SpongeBob movie, Search for SquarePants. While I do think this is the better SpongeBob movie from 2025, what keeps this from being higher for me is some noticeable flaws is. And to me, the biggest one is that it feels like the story reuses elements from both the show and the first movie. And in the case of the latter, it's SpongeBob wanting to prove that he's not just a kid, aka that he's a big guy, as this movie says. And another big flaw in this movie is a flaw that the first movie also had, which is having some main characters from the show having only brief appearances. And since Plankton's one of them, it is surprising after watching the previous 5 movies. But this movie still does have good things as well, such as the colorful animation, and it is a big improvement over the visuals from Plankton the movie. It has a good amount of funny moments, and SpongeBob's arc of learning what being a big guy is still good overall. So while there may be 4 other SpongeBob movies that I prefer over this one, I still liked it, so definitely give it a watch. Now, it might be surprising to see Sponge Out of Water ranked here, but my reasons for this are mainly because of 2 big flaws I see in the movie. And the biggest one is that while Sponge Out of Water is the title of the movie, the gang doesn't actually go to the surface until about an hour into the film. And the second big flaw is that it feels like Patrick acts like a friend of SpongeBob the least in this movie out of all the SpongeBob movies. And I know that he's dumb and not always the most loyal friend, and that's been shown in many episodes, but SpongeBob is supposed to be his best friend. But even with those flaws, I do still really like this film. And what I like about it is that the CGI on the characters when they're on the surface blends in well with the live-action environment. The scenes of the gang being superheroes are great. Antonio Banderas gives a really good performance as Burger Beard. The time travel scenes are very visually pleasing to look at, and I do like that Sandy has more lines and screen time here than she had in the first movie. And speaking of Sandy, next is Saving Bikini Bottom, the Sandy Cheeks movie. I do know that most people consider this to be their least favorite SpongeBob movie, and I respect their opinions. And the reason why I don't is because I admittedly really liked this movie. And what I liked about it is that it improved over Sponge Out of Water's biggest flaw by having the characters be out of water for a lot longer. It was nice meeting Sandy's family and learning about her origins. A lot of moments are fun to watch. The live action and voiceover performances are all really good. And it has a good amount of heart in the story. But while I do really like this movie, there are 3 main flaws that keep it from being higher. The first is that there isn't much character development in the movie aside from Sandy realizing that the Bikini Bottomites are both her friends and family. The second is that there are some scenes that are shown but don't really go anywhere as the movie progresses, such as the scene with Sandy's parents wanting her to stay in Texas. And the third is that the image of Wanda Sykes on the little girl in the flashback is pretty weird looking. But even with those flaws, this is still a really good movie to me. Now, it might be surprising to see Sponge on the Run ranked here, but I rank it here for a few reasons. The first being that whenever I watch this movie, it's a pretty joyful experience for me, even if it isn't my favorite one overall. The second is that out of all the SpongeBob movies, this one has the best visuals because the CGI is very beautiful. The third is that it has some pretty great songs in it, and The Secret to the Formula is You is my favorite one. And the fourth is that it has some really emotional moments, especially the scenes with SpongeBob's friends pleading for him to be saved. And I will admit that they did almost bring tears to my eyes. But while this is a great movie to me, it still does have flaws. The first being that the story does have similarities to the episode Have You Seen the Snail, but it's not just a copy of that episode since it uses those elements in its own way. And the second is that the Camp Coral flashbacks are contradictory to episodes in the show. But like I've been saying, the movie is still worth watching. And also, it's interesting to me that this and Search for SquarePants are the only 2 SpongeBob movies where Bikini Bottom isn't in danger. And unsurprisingly, at number 1, we have the original SpongeBob movie. And yeah, it's a pretty amazing movie since the story is very fun and action-packed. And that's not just with SpongeBob and Patrick's journey, but also with SpongeBob's arc of accepting his childlike personality. The Goofy Goober Rock part is great, Mindy's a great character, and to me, she's the best character in the film. And it's also a very emotional film to me, and that's especially the case with the scene where SpongeBob and Patrick dry up under the lamp. And that almost brought tears to my eyes when I rewatched the movie for this video. But as amazing as this movie is, it does have a few problems. And like I mentioned before, the biggest one to me is that not every main character from the show has a big role in the movie, such as Sandy only having a few scenes and just 2 lines. And I do like that almost all the later movies improved on that. Additionally, it did feel weird to me that Plankton was able to enslave Sandy since she's one of the smartest characters in SpongeBob. But even if it's not a perfect movie, this to me is still the best SpongeBob movie. So that was my ranking for all the SpongeBob movies, and I hope you guys enjoyed it. Have a nice day and happy holidays.